come to share their breakthrough after the arrest of a 22-year-old man.
He has today been charged with the murder of Samantha.
Attention, let alone Australia. It's been a horrendous and horrific murders, and once again we pass on our sympathies to the family.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrea.M. and this is Real Crime Down Under Updates. My apologies for not getting this video out to you guys sooner, but I have had a massive couple of weeks and I've been filming for the original Sound Lounge. I attended a fashion event that we were putting on for my other job at Rustic Revivals, and we were filming for International Women's Day. As many of my Australian viewers will know, and probably some of the overseas viewers as well, there have been major updates in two of the cases I covered recently. So if you're from Australia and you've had an oversaturation of this case and you wish to skip this video, please feel free. It's okay, I won't be offended at all. If you're not from Australia or you're not up on the cases, you can totally join me today and I will fill you in on all the new developments. But if you are from Australia and you still want to follow along and keep me company here today, as I update both cases, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And I would also like to thank the over 100 subscribers that have come on board the channel over the last month. I've had more subscribers probably this month than I have for the whole almost 2 years that I've been on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. You guys rock, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I would like to ask you guys to consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton and it gets me closer to my goal of my first 1,000 subscribers. And with that said, let's just hop on into today's video, and I'm sure it's one that you've been waiting for, and it is the updates on the Samantha Murphy case and updates on Beau Lamar Condon, the New South Wales police officer who has been charged with the alleged homicides of Jesse Baird and Luke Davies. So I'll give you all the updates on both cases. And I'm going to start with Samantha Murphy's case because we've had major breakthroughs in the case in just the last couple of days. So as I was saying, most of my Australian viewers will know there has been an arrest made in the disappearance of Samantha Murphy, and this is why I have moved her case to Real Crime Down Under, because sadly she is no longer a missing person and it is now a homicide. So for those of you not familiar with the case, I'll provide a brief timeline, or if you just want to go over the timeline again, we can do that here. Okay, so starting with the Samantha Murphy case and what we know so far. So this is the timeline leading right up until yesterday. So while much of the timeline still remains unclear, this is what police say they know about the alleged murder of Samantha. Sunday, February 4. Samantha leaves her Eureka Street home in Ballarat East at about 7 a.m. to go for a run in the Canadian State Forest. The 51-year-old is captured on CCTV wearing black leggings and a maroon or brown coloured tank top. She also had her phone, her smartwatch and her earpods with her. She fails to return home at around 11, where she was expected to attend a family brunch at that time. Emergency services and community volunteers begin to search in the nearby Wookarung Regional Park, also known as the Canadian Forest. Moving to Monday, the 5th of February, police launch an investigation. Detectives tell the media they don't suspect anything suspicious has happened at that time. They reveal her phone last pinged near the Buninyong Golf Club, which is about 11 kilometres south of Samantha's home. Thursday, February 8, family members make an emotional plea for the public's help to find the missing mother of 3. Her husband Michael saying, people don't just vanish into thin air. Somebody's got to know something. He also said, whether it be any little thing you might think is relevant, just call the police. It'll give us a bit of peace of mind if we get some hope. Moving to Friday, the 9th of February, Missing persons detectives take over the investigation as additional resources are deployed into the region, and that would include a tracker and the community there in Ballarat launching searches of their own trying to find Samantha. So the detectives begin speaking with telecommunications technicians, but they do not get any further information. Saturday, February 10th. Just a day later, the search is officially scaled back. Wednesday, February 14, Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Shane Patton declares the disappearance is being treated now as suspicious, but no evidence of foul play had emerged at that time. Police follow up on hundreds of pieces of information and conduct targeted searches of the area. Friday, February 23. Police reveal more than one person may be involved in the disappearance. Detective Acting Superintendent Mark Hatt tells media the possibility that Samantha Murphy was still alive was growing slim. Unfortunately, given the time and the fact we've found no trace of her, we have severe concerns, and we are very doubtful that she is still alive, he said. Investigators review about 12,000 hours of CCTV footage and follow up more than 500 separate pieces of information. Case goes quiet for a couple of weeks, and then we move to Wednesday of this week, March 6. A 22-year-old man is arrested at a home in Ballarat at around 6 a.m. He is taken into custody where he is questioned. Thursday, March 7, police informed the public of the man's arrest. The 22-year-old is charged with one count of alleged murder and fronts court. However, his identity is suppressed. The magistrate tells the court the accused is entitled to a fair trial, which he is, and noted the case had high media and community interest. Michael Murphy, Samantha's husband, tells the media he did feel relief after hearing a man had been charged. Police are yet to recover Murphy's body, and the investigation remains ongoing. Now, yesterday, Friday, March 8, the son of a former AFL player is identified as the man charged with the homicide. He is identified as Patrick Oren Stevenson, 22, and faces Ballarat Magistrates Court, where an interim suppression order that prevented the publication of his name, his address, and date of birth is lifted. At this early stage in the case, not a lot has been revealed as yet about Patrick Stevenson, but I will relay what I was able to find out about him. So he is the son of AFL player Oren Stevenson, and he's also an AFL player himself. He has not yet revealed to the police the location of Samantha's remains, and it was also alluded to in a press conference that the investigation looking into the cell phones and data of other people who may have been in the vicinity of Mount Clear in the area and the time of day they believe Samantha to have disappeared was instrumental in obtaining the arrest of the 22-year-old. And I will put a little snippet of that press conference in here.
Here to provide an update on the disappearance of Samantha Murphy, who went missing on the 4th of February, and the developments that have came today. Detectives from the Missing Persons Squad yesterday morning at 6 a.m. arrested a 22-year-old Scotsburn man. They arrested him at his home address and took him into custody. The man was interviewed over a number of hours. A number of search warrants have been executed. As a result of those investigations, he has today been charged with the murder of Samantha. We will be alleging that murder occurred at Mount Clare on the day she disappeared. In the interview with the suspect, he has not disclosed to police where Samantha's body is. I want to be very clear. I'm limited in what I can say, given that there has now been a charge of murder laid. The suspect, as I say, has been charged and he'll be appearing before Ballarat Magistrates Court. As I came into the press conference, he was very close to being fronted before the magistrate. Samantha's family has been advised of this tragic news this afternoon by detectives from the Missing Persons Squad, and obviously this is a tragic outcome, knowing that she has been murdered. Our thoughts and support are with her family. And I do just want to say something about the family. Since the outset in these cases, it's often that the family come under scrutiny. They were under intense scrutiny at the outset, and we, Victoria Police, said everyone should keep an open mind and let us go about our business. They have been cooperative with us. They have provided everything we needed, and they have had no involvement whatsoever in this matter. I want to thank all members of the public and Ballarat surrounding communities. They've been fantastic in the way they've assisted the volunteers, particularly members of the SES, the CFA. They've helped in the line searches, in continuing searches, but also in the information that has been provided. I know that Samantha's disappearance has had a profound impact on the Ballarat community. Some cases, some disappearances, some murders bring out outpourings of grief, and we've seen that here. So thank you to the community and all those involved, all those who provided assistance in all of those areas.
And also what I've been able to find out about Stevenson so far as the case progresses. So the 22-year-old is from Scottsburn, and he attended St Patrick's College and moved with his family to Ballarat in 2002. Now, his father, Oren, made his debut into the AFL in 2012 at the age of 30. And in an interview with AFL.com talked about how he returned home as much as possible when he was training. So that's unusual in and of itself with Patrick's father, Oren. Usually when they're drafted into the AFL to play for the big leagues, they're usually drafted when they're quite young. Most of the time they're teenagers, like 17, 18 years of age, early 20s. So for Oren to be drafted in when he was 29 was unusual. So that probably speaks to what a great player Oren Stevenson is. I don't keep up with AFL or any of that kind of thing. I'm not really into sports. But for him to have been drafted in at such a late age, that says that he's got some considerable skill that they wanted for their team. So Patrick last year was, now his father would say this of Patrick, that Patrick last year was rolling around the rooms with the Geelong Cats, and this year he's been rolling around with the Richmond Tigers, which are two other AFL teams. And he was also saying that Patrick wouldn't pass up these opportunities for quids, that he loves AFL, and even his daughters also have a lot of fun with it because Patrick also has sisters. It's a massive bonus that we can share these pretty good times in our lives with our kids. And how sad of the developments that have happened around Patrick Stevenson in the last couple of days. In 2019, Patrick was photographed by the Ballarat Courier with his teammates from the Red Ant under-19s team, and he was helping to promote a Looking After Our Mates program, and what that program for was to discourage drink driving. 5 weeks since Murphy vanished after leaving her Ballarat East home, police on Thursday charged Stevenson with murdering the mother of 3 at Mount Clear. Stevenson has been remanded into custody and will next face court on the 8th of August. His lawyer, David Tamanika, on Thursday told the court that it was his client's first time in custody. Detectives from the Missing Persons Squad who arrested Stevenson also said that Stevenson was not linked to the Murphy family at all. They didn't know each other. And at about 6 a.m. on Wednesday, police and specialist detectives were continuing to search for the body of Samantha. Investigations will continue at a very heavy pace, Patton said, doing everything we can to locate Samantha's body, and for her family that is absolutely vital. Police said they were not looking for anyone else at this stage in connection to the alleged homicide. Anyone who has information including CCTV or dashcam footage from the time that Samantha went missing has still been asked to come forward. They are still going through mountains of evidence in relation to this case. And And as always, anything the public might feel would aid the police in the case, you can make your report by calling Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. It has also been revealed in the past few days that the Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Shane Patton said on Thursday police will allege Ms Murphy did actually become deceased on the day she disappeared in Mount Clear. And Stevenson's parents live about 6 kilometres away from where Samantha lived with her family. And it is also only about 12 kilometres away from the accused home in Scottsburn. Police also allege this was a deliberate act and don't believe that it was a hit and run, that element was not present. They are unable to say more at this time, but as more information comes to hand, I will be updating this case as soon as I can. So now we move on to our next update on the alleged double homicide of Jessie Baird and Luke Davies by alleged killer New South Wales Police Constable Beau Lamar Condon. And as many of you have been following along in the news as I have, we pretty much know that these people probably did these things, especially Beau Lamar Condon, because of the raft of evidence that they have against him. But we have to still say alleged, because these people haven't had their day in court, and they are entitled to that. They're entitled to a fair trial, So for legal reasons, we still have to say alleged. We can't say, yes, they did it, or no, they didn't. It's just alleged at this particular time, because more evidence could come to light. So as we know, news broke last week that the bodies of Jessie Baird and Luke Davies had been located with the assistance of the accused, and an arrest had been made after Condon actually handed himself in to the police in Bondi in Sydney. And as always, as the case goes along, more details about Beau Lamar Condon have been revealed. Police documents have revealed the chilling attempts by Beau Lamar Condon to cover up his alleged crimes. Serving police officer Beau Lamar Condon has been charged with the homicides of his ex-lover Jessie Baird and the Studio 10 presenter's new boyfriend Luke Davies. Explosive new documents now show how police arrived at Mr Baird's Paddington home on February 21, only to find 3 cleaners inside the home mopping the floor. They also found a bullet hole and blood in the kitchen. Documents also show a female flatmate walked out into the garden where Mr Baird and Mr Davies' body lay in surfboard bags covered by a tarpaulin. She took 3 photographs and touched one of the surfboard bags containing one of the sets of remains, and she thought it felt a bit lumpy. The woman also noticed blood seeping from one of the bags, but she didn't actually know what she was looking at. And at the time she thought it was just spilled beetroot juice, maybe by a messy housemate. So sources close to the investigation said the woman was stunned to learn the truth of what was actually contained in the 2 surf bags, the Daily Telegraph reported. The housemates took photos on their phone to say, look at the mess here. And it wouldn't have even crossed a person's mind that they were really looking at something completely sinister, the source said. There's such an extreme improbability of a body being in a surf bag that it's not even a rational thought that a normal person would have when confronted with such a sight. These things are just laying there, they're out in the open, they've just got a tarp over them. Anybody would think, oh, this must be just something somebody's trying to get rid of. Well, it was, they just didn't know how sinister the contents were. Police documents also show that a 000 call was made from around the time of the alleged homicide. A male voice could be heard shouting, "Get out! F off!" and then the line goes dead, according to the documents. Police will allege that Lamar Condon only planned to commit homicide on Mr Baird, but also committed homicide on Mr Davies when he turned up at the property to find him there. Mr Baird and Mr Davies had enjoyed an evening at the Beresford Hotel before going for Thai food on Sunday, February 18. Police will allege that Lamar Condon then turned up at Mr. Baird's home on Monday morning and shot the couple with his police-issued Glock pistol. So he's actually allegedly committed this murder with his police-issued service weapon. Not very smart on his part, because that links him straight back, unquestionably, to this homicide. Neighbours heard a loud bang and a raised voice at around 9:40 a.m, police documents allege. The police contacted Mr. Baird's mother, who would immediately tell them that he had a stalker, who she believed to be an ex-police officer called Beau, who was regularly turning up at their son's home, the police claimed. So, as I've been doing my research, it's been found that Beau Lamar Condon was allegedly stalking Jesse on a pretty regular basis over the last few months leading up to the homicides. Friends and family would say that Jesse was afraid that Beau was stalking him, that Beau had allegedly broken into Jesse's house, that he had also allegedly poured water into the fuel tank of Jesse's car. And I'm sure as the case progresses, there's going to be more and more come out about the extent that Jesse was actually being stalked by Beau Lamar Condon. It's also been said that there was nothing ever really that serious between Beau and Jesse, that they'd just gone out on a casual basis, and obviously that relationship just wasn't clicking probably for Jesse. And as far as I know, it was Jesse that broke things off with Beau, and then he's just gone on living his life and found a new partner in Luke Davies. And what some of the speculation surrounding Beau Lamar Condon is that this wasn't a hate crime. It wasn't to do with that these were gay people that were being dealt with here, because Beau Lamar Condon is a gay man himself. This was a case of domestic violence. It was a case of control and, not wanting Jesse to have anybody but him. So there was kind of what they've been saying in some of the news stories I've read, and some of the experts that have just been talking about the case. This is just speculation at the moment, but this is what people are speculating, that if Beau couldn't have Jesse, he didn't want anybody else to have Jesse either. So there are other videos you can watch on this case, and I will link a few here because these experts can explain it better than me, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to take away from their videos, but I will link a couple that I did find very interesting. So the information that Jesse was frightened that he was being stalked by a police officer sparked a 2-day manhunt for Lamar Condon, and the fact that Lamar Condon was unreachable for 2 days while Jesse and Luke were reported missing. The net was closing in. Lamar Condon allegedly arrived at a friend's home in Lambton near Newcastle on February 22. According to this female friend, he was sleep deprived, he was rambling, and she also said that Lamar Condon said he had hired a Hi-Ace and he had been driving it around and it was full of blood and he needed to clean it out, the police claim. He also said he had driven another female friend to the countryside and had been floating in a dam. And he was also quoted as saying by this person to the police that she would tell them, he said the body wouldn't sink. And the police will allege that the woman told this to the detectives. Police also spoke to the other witness who allegedly drove with Lamar Condon to the property in Bungonia. She alleges that he asked her to open a gate while he drove the van through. And he left her alone there at the gate for about half an hour. When he returned, she noticed that the blue tarp that had been covering something in the back of the van was now missing, the police allege. Lamar Condon eventually handed himself into Bondi Police Station. It is now 2 Fridays ago, but the search for Mr. Baird and Mr. Davies' bodies would continue until the following Tuesday. They were eventually located in Bungonia, just outside of Goulburn, New South Wales, with information provided to officers by the accused man, the police said. Beau Lamar Condon is currently at Silverwater Prison and is due to face court in April. So around April 23 is his court date. In chilling revelations about Condon as more news is becoming available, it came to light that Lamar Condon had been moved between multiple police stations and commands. And this was after he tasered a man in mid-2020. And what the problem is with this alleged tasering of this suspect was that he is alleged to have tasered the man in the face, and he was placed under internal investigation. He was ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing, however. Before handing himself in, police allege Lamar Condon attempted to dispose of the couple's bodies in a dam at a Bungonia property and then later moved the bodies to a second location along a nearby fence line, and the second location was only 20 minutes away from the first. It has also been reported in the past week that a mental health defence may be mounted when Condon faces court in April. When Condon faces court on April 23. Until then, Beau Lamar Condon remains in custody at Sydney's Silverwater Prison. And that is where my information sort of dries up a little bit at the moment for both of these cases, but I'll be keeping a close watch on them, and as soon as more evidence comes to light that we are allowed to share, I will do updates on both cases. And also, I've had a couple of subscribers ask for requests in the last week. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten either of you, and I will be getting to those cases hopefully sometime this week. So that's it for this update video so far. More videos will be coming about other cases and historical cases and just, everything else I do here. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me. Thank you all Thank you all for subscribing to the channel. It means the world to me. I love you all so much. And please stay safe for me until we meet again on my next video. Much love to you all, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.